The same man who went viral only days ago for spitting on the St. George's Cross, mocking our national flag, and insulting the EDL has now been arrested. And this time the charges are absolutely sickening. He has been accused of recording his own sister while she was undressed, facing charges of voyeurism. We'll dive into this story in today's video, but before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Right now, only 12% of viewers are subscribed, so join the community and help us grow. Let that sink in. Just days after making headlines for openly disrespecting the flag of England, he is now at the center of an appalling scandal that shows the true nature of his character. On one hand, he spits on our national identity in public for attention. On the other, he's accused of behavior so depraved, it turns the stomach. This isn't simply a question of one man's actions. It's about what Britain is being forced to tolerate. People who come here, show no respect for our culture, insult our symbols, and then commit vile offenses are still allowed to remain among us. It makes you wonder what message is being sent to ordinary British people who are expected to respect the law and their country, while watching others openly mock it. We should be asking ourselves, how much more of this are we willing to accept? When someone spits on our flag and then finds themselves accused of crimes as disgraceful as this, the answer should be clear. There should be no hesitation, no drawn-out debates, and no excuses. If you show nothing but contempt for Britain, its people, and its values, then you have no place here. Deportation is the only answer. Have a watch of him spitting on the St. George's flag.
So what's really going on here, huh? What's really going on here, huh? Yeah, fuck this shit. I know idiot shit, man. Huh? This looks like Sully and Jason in them scenes.
Now have a watch of the creep being arrested.
Hello?
Open the door.
Why?
Open the door now.
But I'm taking a
You come in through the door, you're going to open it, it's up to you.
I'll open it.
Oh, where are you? Oh, you're on the toilet, right. Finish off on the toilet quickly, but at this time, time's 2:12. You're under arrest for breach of DV prevention order, i.e. you're at this address, harassment against your sister, and also voyeurism, namely you've been recording her while she's getting undressed. Finish what you're doing, but you do not have to say anything, but it may harm you.
Our flag, insults our people, and now stands accused of something as perverse as recording his own sister while she was undressed. This is the type of individual being allowed to remain in Britain today. Ordinary citizens are expected to obey the law, respect the nation, and carry the burden of tolerance, while people like this mock everything we stand for. Enough is enough. If you openly disrespect our country and then commit vile crimes on top of it, you should lose the right to stay here. Britain must put its people first, and that means deportation without question. In other news, a former head of MI5 has warned that Britain may already be at war with Vladimir Putin's Russia. Baroness Manningham-Buller argued that Russian espionage, covert operations, and cyber attacks suggest that Britain is already at war with Russia. The ex-MI5 chief said she shared the view of the foreign policy expert and former advisor to US President Donald Trump, Dr. Fiona Hill, who has previously argued that the UK is effectively at war with Moscow. Speaking to the Lord Speaker's Corner podcast, Lady Manningham-Buller said, "Fiona Hill may be right in saying we're already at war with Russia. It's a different sort of war, but the hostility, the cyber attacks, the physical attacks, intelligence work is extensive." The former security service boss, who met with Mr. Putin in 2005, said previous governments had made a mistake in trying to bring the country closer to the West. Lady Manningham-Buller said, "We all hoped that at the end of the Soviet Union, we would have a potential partner. That was one of the reasons why Putin was with us for the G8 summit in 2005. I met him when he came back to London, but actually we were wrong because Russia is extremely hostile to the West. I didn't anticipate that within a year he'd be ordering the murder on London streets of Alexander Litvinenko." Mr. Litvinenko served as an officer within the Russian Federal Security Services, FSB, and repeatedly called Mr. Putin's regime a mafia state before defecting to advise Britain's intelligence service. He died in November 2006 after being poisoned in London, with 2 Russian agents suspected of being ordered to carry out the assassination. Lady Manningham-Buller added that Dr. Hill, who first raised the alarm that Britain may already be at war with Russia earlier this year, knows more about Putin than anybody else. In an interview with The Guardian, Dr. Hill said that Britain is in pretty big trouble. The former Trump advisor, who is a biographer of the Russian president, said that Britain was stuck between the rock of Mr. Putin's regime and the hard place of the current American government. In May, Britain's National Cybersecurity Center, NCSC, alongside Western allies, exposed a campaign by Russian intelligence targeting logistics and technology organizations. NCSC Director of Operations Paul Chichester said in May that the Russian Military Intelligence Service was carrying out a malicious campaign, which presents a serious risk to targeted organizations, including those involved in the delivery of assistance to Ukraine. The intelligence agencies of 10 NATO member states said Russian spies were able to gain access to the networks using a range of hacking techniques. In 2018, former Russian intelligence officer Sergei Skripal and his daughter died after being poisoned with the deadly Novichok nerve agent in Salisbury, Wiltshire. The government concluded the attack was highly likely to have been carried out by agents acting on behalf of Russia. Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy has announced the biggest expansion of legal aid in a generation. In his keynote speech at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool, the Justice Secretary said he is so proud to put the expansion into force. In his speech, he said, "Let's end the lie about one of Clement Attlee's greatest creations, legal aid. The myth of fat cat lawyers is destructive. Legal aid lawyers are not rich. Many are paid less than nurses, teachers and police who rely on them in court. They are the high street lawyers of Cornwall, Tottenham, Liverpool and Leeds, serving their communities for much less than they could earn elsewhere. I'm so proud that Hillsborough law means never again will grieving families be left without a lawyer where the state lines up against them. Conference, this marks the biggest expansion of legal aid in a generation, backed by the biggest investment in a decade. Legal aid is government-funded support for lawyers, advice or court representation if someone is unable to stump up the costs. It is supposed to ensure people are not denied a fair hearing just because they cannot afford hefty legal battles. Legal aid has come under fire in recent years due to the number of migrants using it when they claim asylum after arriving in the UK. Many need legal aid to navigate the complex system and challenge Home Office refusals or appeal deportation. Critics feel legal aid keeps migrants locked in prolonged legal battles, which allows them to remain in the UK longer than they would otherwise. The surge in asylum seekers arriving via small boats has also led to significant legal aid expenditures, therefore coming at an additional cost to the taxpayer. Mr. Lammy also used his speech in Liverpool to hit out at some of the aforementioned critics, including Reform UK leader Nigel Farage and Tory Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick. He said his Tory shadow is wrong in how he attacks our judges and institutions. He added, frankly, much of what he says would make Winston Churchill shudder in his grave. Robert, patriotism isn't smearing our independent judiciary from a pub on X. It's standing up for our rule of law. Mr. Lammy continued, the other person who doesn't get it, of course, is Nigel Farage. He wraps himself in our flag, but his policies don't match British values. We must call his scheme to round up and deport our French, our Indian, our Caribbean neighbours who already have indefinite leave to remain what it is. It is racist. I say not in our country, not in our name, not in our time. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.